Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Board Game Specialist. I am Melanie.
And I'm Carla.
And this week we're on episode 48, and we're going to be listing the top 9 games that's currently on our shelf of shame that we're most looking forward to getting played. Now, we're just before starting this episode, we started tallying up our collection and how many of them are on the shelf of shame. And Carla is putting me to shame, I gotta say, because my collection is currently sitting at 559 games that I currently own, not counting expansion. Carla, what are you sitting at? How many games?
According to Board Game Geek, I'm not 100% that I have everything logged in there, but 881 is my collection.
881, so quite a bit more. Now, I currently have 125 games that are unplayed, which is 23% of my game collection. And what do you have that's currently unplayed?
I have 16 games and 9 expansions, so mine's at just about 3%.
Now, we had there was a post on Facebook that I'd come across. I have played probably about 560 different games this year, or different plays this year. Now, your number, you are at 1,400.
Yeah, I think I'm, what am I at here?
When I say Carla plays a lot.
I play a lot of games, yeah.
I am at so envious.
37 right now, but my games, the amount of games I've played is 543. So last year I was at 1,800 and some. That was more of a COVID year though, so I was playing a lot more solo last year. So I'm down a bit this year, but
oh geez, I do. Yeah, no, you're doing
I
terrible.
do include my Board Game Geek games. So what is that at?
And I would say, Carla plays way more than I do. She has a much wider variety. And then just when we tally up the number, I didn't realize it was that much. But yeah, wow.
But you also work more. You work a lot more than me. You work 6 days a week. And I work 4.
So. I need to retire and then just become a full-time board gamer.
Yes, if that's a job out there, you can hire us. We will do it. We will do that 7 days a week.
Yes, we'll send a resume.
Yeah. We'll play all day.
Oh, geez. Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be awesome.
All right. So, now before we get started on the list, what have you been playing lately?
So I played 2 of my Kickstarters that I got. I got to Gartenbau to the table. So this is a nice little gardening game. I got the deluxe copy with the wooden tiles.
Oh, nice.
So I literally got almost 2 games sent to me. I got the whole set of cardboard tiles and then the whole set of wooden tiles. I'm surprised they actually sent the cardboard because I don't even need them. It's literally a whole other game other than the game board.
Right.
But it's so neat. It's if you like Azul or anything like that, you will like this. You have these seedlings, so those are the first tiles that will go onto your tableau, and then once you place those and you have them in the correct order, then you will place plants on top. So you have to have 2 seedlings that match what you need for the plant. Then you will place the plant tile on top of those 2, because you always have to have 2 underneath that the plant needs. Then you'll place the plant on top, and you'll just kind of build this up and placing plants on top of seedlings, and then eventually you will place flowers, which are these big square tiles, and they will need to be on top of 2 of the plant tiles. So the seedling tiles would be like a rectangle with 2 little squares on them that have 2 different seedlings. The plants are a rectangle that will go on top of those, and then the flowers go on top of 2 of the rectangle plants. And those ones are the end game scoring. So you are trying to puzzle out how to build up your flower tiles. And the scoring on all of them are so unique and different. Some are literally just straight points. Some are, they want to be next to flowers. Some want to be next to just seedlings. Some want to be next to just openings. So you have to create these little holes in your tableau. And it's quite interesting. I was kind of worried before I played because I had watched a bunch of reviews and there was quite a few fine ones, like not great, but there was a couple bad ones, and I thought, oh no, because I spent a lot on this deluxe copy, so I was a bit worried. But it is a really neat puzzle, and it's fun. Another one I had just received is called Habitats. Now, this was a remake of an older game that was actually Nova Luna was designed from it.
Oh, okay.
So they took like a themed game and designed an abstract strategy game from it. And now they've remade Habitats. So what it is you know how in Nova Luna, when you have these tiles and you want connected to the tiles, the colors that are on the tiles? Well, this one is an animal theme one. So you are building up your park and you are placing animals that want to be next to certain habitats. So like colors, right? So you have to place them strategically on your tableau and hoping that you can connect all these other ones. But the nice thing in this game is there's more to it than Nova Luna. There's also like tourist tiles that want like one type of habitat throughout your whole tableau, and you'll get a point for each one. There's tents that want to be like have tiles next to them, but not other tent tiles. There's gates that want to be on the outside of your tableau, and they want nothing like on the outside of them. They kind of enclose things. There's towers that want certain patterns of tiles, certain types of tiles as well. And the way you accumulate these tiles is different than Nova Luna. You have all the tiles set up in the middle, and you each have this little Jeep that you kind of drive through it. And so wherever your Jeep is, you can take a tile next to it, but not behind it. Because whatever tile you take, you have to put your Jeep as that was the back end of it, so you can never go in reverse. So it's kind of neat, because the new tile that comes up, you can never take, because you just left that spot. But it's really cool, and it's the theme adds a lot to it. There's also round objectives, so you play 3 whole rounds, and at the end of each round there's different objectives each time. So you may have to have the most animals in your park, or the most flowers, or you might want to be at the edge of the park, like your Jeep, whoever's closest to the edge, and it's all different kinds of things. But it was really neat, and I was really happy with that one as well. What about you? Have you gotten anything played?
You know what? Almost nothing. You can tell, like, we're on full-on Christmas mode here, plus I'm doing 2 weeks of 6 days because I'm taking between Christmas and New Year's off, so...
Oh, good.
I guess
that would be nice.
You gotta earn the time off. But when you had come over on Sunday, you had bought a game called Frame It, or it's also known as Rubik's Race. And Ashley messaged me, and then she's like, "Ooh, I found it." And it's called Magic Block or something like that. Yeah. The version that she found. So I was like, "Okay, grab that for me." So then that's one that we played a little bit. It was we went walking or driving around looking at the Christmas lights in the village here. And that day after we came back, we played a few rounds of Frame It. Now, the way that this works is you have I think it's a 5x5 kind of grid in front of you, but one is missing. So you got like 4 of each colors, 4 square tiles of each colors, and you have this shaker that you're going to shake, put it down, it's going to give you like a pattern, and you're both trying to get your square shapes into this pattern, and you're sliding these tiles around, but there's only a single opening there, so you gotta kind of, there was like these little puzzles you could do, but yeah, so you slide it there so you can and then it's just kind of trying to slide these squares around to get them into this pattern. First player to do it gets to flip the frame towards them, and then that's be like, okay, great, I won. I played against Carla, and when they came over on Sunday, and it was she just slaughtered me. But then with my kids, however, I'm unbeatable. I've beat everybody. So even though I can't beat Carla, I can beat my children at this. So then that was great.
I'm sure you will be able to. You only played
I'm going to be
once,
practicing. Sure. So
we'll have a tournament.
And then I had. Falcon had a silent auction for some of the board games they were kind of getting out of their library, or their library, I guess. And with the silent auction, you never know. Like, you just kind of look at the games and be like, sure, I'd be willing to pay up to this or whatever. So I've done that on a few games. So you didn't know what you were getting, but I won a few of those. Plus, I had purchased a couple of games from the Facebook Marketplace, and our friend Michael is my board game dealer. So he collects all of these. And then I ended up meeting him at the D6 Tabletop Cafe to pick those up. And this was the first time I went to that cafe. Now, I know because it just recently opened. And I had heard about it. I knew they were opening. But this place is amazing. It looks beautiful. And then all the games they have on the shelf available to play. And then the tables are nice size. Like, they're nice, deep table. Yeah, I just went there to kind of swap games real quick, and then ended up seeing a bunch of like my friends there as well. So I was kind of, said hi to everybody quickly. But I gotta go back. This was a beautiful, beautiful place. So that was the D6 Tabletop Cafe. So highly recommend in Calgary. It's in the northeast area of Calgary, and I'm excited to go back to that. But yeah, so only the one game played this week. I'm hoping to make up over Christmas. So. Now, so let's get started in our list. So we're doing our top shelf of shame game that we can't wait to play. So, Carla, what's or any honorable mention, I should ask?
I have two quick ones. One is called Glasgow, and this is made in 2020 by Mandela Fernandez Grandin. Now, this one I had bought. It was at Boardgame Bliss. It was one of their sales. And it was $12 regular from $35, and I had kind of had my eye on this game before, even at full price, but always thought, it'll be one I'll maybe pick up on the used market. Now the Lookout Games, they have a line of 2-player games, and I've yet to play a bad one. So I thought, this has got to be a good one. So I had just recently purchased this one. So that one's sitting there. I'm still excited to play, but it didn't make my top 9. One other one I have technically played, not my version of the game. A friend had bought, I had talked about those Mashad games, the big wooden board. Oh, right. And so she bought a Chinese checkers version of that. And I thought I knew what Chinese checkers was. I've never played it, ever.
Really?
So she brought it over one night, and I was like, I thought it was more like the Sorry game where you had to go back to your home.
Oh, yeah, no.
But it's not at all. So I was like, this is awesome. I love this game. Like, it totally would take over chess for me. I played so much chess as a kid that I'm sick of it. I don't enjoy it anymore. But this one is really cool. So I just ended up buying a smaller wooden version of it, still beautiful, from Chapters. They had some of these... it's not as big as the Mashad one, but it's a little bit smaller, but still beautiful with the colors and the wood. And it was on sale for like $20. So I bought that, but I haven't got that to the table yet. But what about you? Any honorable mentions?
I mean, I have 125 on my list, so yes, of course.
One or two.
And I tend to buy old classics, like games that you've heard about, that's like, okay, this one never, like, you've kind of, it's come up a time and time again, and I tend to do that more than like the what's hot and new, right? So Pillars of the Earth is one that I've purchased at the was it the Falcon auction, and like I haven't, like, there's a lot of games here I haven't played them, but I tend to look into them and kind of watch videos and that sort of stuff. And this one does look really neat. Plus, like, it comes with these little wooden thing that you build up the cathedral or whatever. Like, I think I guess it's based on trying to build this cathedral, and I'm really looking forward to playing this one. I've heard great things. The component looks really cool. I mean, it's an older one, but I'm excited to give this one a try. It's just trying to get the right group.
Yeah, because you need to find someone who appreciates older Euros. I actually just bought this as well. It was one of my Grail games, and I had found this, like, someone was selling it off super cheap, and I bought it. So excited to play, because it's that older Euro with, like, their mechanics seem to be so smooth.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, but so I brought it out with Cherry and Ashley, and I don't think they were a huge fan of it, but I really liked it. So you do have to find the right group that appreciates those older Euros. Like,
for sure. And then see, the games that I play with, or the people I play with the most, is my family, my kids. Yeah. These are not the games you bring out with them, right?
Yeah,
so,
I'm not sure.
And then when I'll have a gathering where there's a lot of like new gamers, sometimes when I'll have a gathering, so you tend to go more to as a party game. So these deeper games don't often hit the table. I do like them. I enjoy them quite a bit, but it's just making a point of kind of finding the right. So that's why when it's 2 players, just me and Lee, that's great. Plus, when it's just me and Lee, he's kind of more willing to learn new games. He doesn't like to kind of learn a big, deep, crunchy game when there's a lot of people there. It's kind of more intimidating, or just kind of like, and I could see that, right? It's like, let's just play something we know. Yeah. All right, but so that's my honorable mentions. So, what's your number 9?
All right, my number 9 is Innovation, made in 2010 by Carl Chudek. Now, this game is probably the oldest game on my shelf of shame. I bought this at least a year ago and have wanted to play it, but just like you had said with your older Euro game, I wouldn't say it's a Euro game, but it's a take that card game, but a kind of a Civ builder at the same time. Now, the thing with that is I have a hard time getting those to the table because my group typically doesn't love a lot of take that, and this is like literally take that in the in-game version. I more or less bought it to have always, just as it's kind of an icon. I believe for a lot of people, they're like, if you have to play this game, you have to learn this game. It's something you just got to play. And it's on BGA, so it'd be so easy for me to learn and play. I just haven't done it yet, but I really do. And I'm not typically one who loves take that either. But if it's literally the only part of the game, then I'm fine with it. If it's like just a part of the game and it can ruin my whole, I'm building up this whole thing and someone can just come and just destroy it all, I'm not a big fan of that. But this is literally, it's coming and it's just going back and forth kind of things. I believe, from what I've kind of looked at of the game. But yeah, I really need to get this one played. So that really should be my number 1 because it's my oldest game, but it's my number 9, Innovation.
That one does look neat. It's not on my shelf of shame because I don't own it, so,
Well, and it doesn't really look pretty either. It's just like
it looks so
cards.
Interesting, though. And you just hear so much good things about it.
You do.
So. Yeah.
So it's got to be good. I'm going to get to it.
Right? It's got to be.
That's what I said a year ago. But
my number 9 is Seasons. It was published in 2012. It's created by Régie Bonessé, and it's published by Libellude. And this one I purchased over this last summer here. I bought a lot of games this last summer. I think moving and not being able to play has kind of destroyed all my willpower. So, but it looks super neat. So there's all these kind of custom bright colored dice that comes in this game. And there's also like this, I don't know if it's like a rondelle, if there's a rondelle mechanism, but there's like this circle component that has all these areas that you can kind of, it looks like you put things on it or has to do with spell. This is definitely, from what I can tell, fantasy theme, which is a theme that I really like. And I just think this is one that I would really like. Just got to get it played. And it just looks gorgeous. The table presence that it has looks amazing. And I just think it'd be a really neat game. Like, I've looked into it a little bit. I've heard good things. Just got to get it played now. But yeah, all the artwork on the cards and then those custom dice and then that rondelle thing, which I think has to do with casting spells or something. Looks neat. So that's my number 9, Seasons.
I will play with that with you. I have never played it, and it's kind of one of my games that I don't know if I'd buy it because I don't know if I could get others to play it, but I would definitely love to try that one.
Nice.
Good choice. My number 8 is Lost City Rivals. This is made in 2018 by Reiner Knizia. And this is basically the multiplayer of Lost Cities, whereas Lost Cities is just a 2-player game. This is a 2 to 4-player game. And they've changed it a bit, whereas there's a bit of auctioning in order to get the cards so that you would put them in your expeditions. And then there's a different type of scoring as well. Like there's some like footprints, and those kind of give you multipliers, I believe, in the cards. But other than that, like other than the auction, and there's some coins involved and stuff, it's not much different. But I had bought this because I love Lost Cities, like just the 2-player game so much, and thought, well, what if I want to play that with 4 players? Now I have a real problem of buying every version of one game. Like the roll and write, the dice game, the card game. And typically I do play them all. So
yeah.
I mean, typically I say most times I do. This time, obviously, this is another one that was probably bought just after Innovation, and I still have yet to get it to the table. But I feel like it would be good with some of my non-gamer friends because it's such a streamlined game and just such a simple concept. But I still haven't brought it out. But that is my number 8, Lost Cities Rivals.
That does sound neat. I've got the Lost City board game, which will play up to 4 players. I haven't played that yet.
No.
Kind of forgot about it till just now, but yeah. Okay. My number 8 is Boardgame Geek, the card game. It was created in 2015. It's created by Candy Weber, and it's published by Game Salute. This is a game that I found at a yard sale in Acme, the village of Acme of all places. I had just moved here, and then I thought, I was like, I must be the only board gamer probably. But then I found this one. I was like, oh my God, I want to get this. And then I haven't heard a whole lot of things about it, but it's a set collecting game from what I understand. But each card is a different board game. So you'll have and then you're kind of flipping through it. And then of course this was published in 2015. So they're going to be older games, right? But you're flipping through it. And I bet your Pillars of the Earth is one of the card, then has kind of the stats on that. And I think you're trying to create, you put them down on the table, like you're creating your shelf, and you're trying to create rows of similar games that you'll get to score. You know what? I've heard almost nothing about this game. It may not be a good game at all, but just because it features all these different board games on the cards and the stats associated with it, I want to play this so bad just to look at all the cards. And that's my number 8, Boardgame Geek, the card game.
I did see that somewhere. Now I can't remember if it was at CompuSoft or something. I'm like, oh, I wonder if this is good. So now we'll find out. Cool.
And there we go.
All right. So number 7. My number 7 is Loveless and Babbage, made in 2019 by Scott Alms. Now this is basically a roll and write game, but it's a real-time roll and write game.
Oh.
And there's a lot of math in this game because what you have is the first round you have 4 different, they say computers, but they're just formulas that you can use to adjust this number. So everybody starts, I believe, at the same numbers, something like 85 or something. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and all you're trying to do is manipulate this number, and you have, I think, a column of 10, maybe 8 or 10 different spots where you can manipulate it. And so the reason you're going to manipulate it is you have a hand of cards because you all start with a character, and you want to be able to use some of your characters in your deck. But until you do that, you have to have manipulated the number to be the number on their card. Plus, you also have kind of a market row of cards that are different people as well that you want to try to manipulate because they have little iconography, little what's it called? Just the little symbols on them. So they each have 2 different symbols, and you want to be the first one to get one of those. So you try to manipulate your card to probably get those first because nobody has your cards that are in your hand. And then you will, once you've run your computer, when you complete all your manipulations, if you're first, you will flip a timer, and everyone only has that much time to complete theirs. And then you will go through them. And you go through them to make sure you did everything right, that you got all your math right. Because some of the computers will be you can add 10, or another one can be you can flip your numbers around. Another one is multiplying, and there's division. So there's a lot of math. It's all math. So as you're doing that, you'll go through, check that you got them all right, and then you'll go through them. The first manipulation, like if I got mine to a person in the market, I will get to grab one of those symbols first, and then it flips and only the other symbol is available. And the whole point of the symbols is you're marking them off on your board and you want to have the most of these certain symbols. There's other little scoring as well, but it doesn't sound appealing, I think, to most people just because of all the math that's involved. But I love that kind of stuff, and I don't know who I'm going to get it to the table with. I'll definitely try with Cherry. She loves roll and writes. I don't know if she's going to love all the math, but the real time is kind of neat. Yeah, I don't know. She really does not like roll and write. She has found one so far she's like, but I'll have to try it for sure and see. But the real time kind of makes you, there's pressure, so you got to do it. You know, you can't think, it takes too long on your turn. You have to be able to do some quick calculations. So it'll be interesting. I haven't even tried this one solo yet. I do have it on my solo table to just give it a try to see if it's even feasible to be able to do it quickly, which I'm sure it will. I love math. And yeah, so that's my number 7, Loveless and Babbage.
Nice. My number 7 is, I'm just looking here real quick, the oldest, no, it's not the oldest one. Season was the oldest one. This is the second oldest one on my list. And it's Concordia. And it's published in 2013. It's created by Matt Gertz, and it's published by Rio Grande Game. This is one that I've resisted getting. I had picked it up and put it back, picked it up and put it back. I had heard such great things about it and would pick it up. And then I would look at the shape of the box and I'm like, no, it's such a long game that like doesn't fit anywhere. So I was like, no, I'm not getting this. I'm not putting that on my shelf based on the size of the box alone. Then I would pick it up again. Well, I hear such great things. It looks so interesting. No, hate the shapes. I put it back. But then I ended up buying it, I think, at the auction at FallCon. So then I was like, all right, fine. I'll get it. So it doesn't fit on my shelf. It has to sit on top because of the long box that it comes in. But this does look interesting. Like, and it looks like every single player has like this player board that has like all these pillars into it that you would put things in. It has the map, lots of bits. So it looks like it's an area control resource management type game. It's definitely looks like one that's a little bit more involved than probably what my family would play. So that's why it hasn't been played yet. But it's just one that you hear so much about how great a game it is. So just got to get it played now. So that's my number 7, Concordia.
This is one of my top games. You're going to see this on my top 50 for sure. If you can see back there, my 2 games. You're going to love this game. And I actually think your family might like it. It is not as complicated as you think.
Oh, okay.
The card play in it is it's so streamlined. And the area control it's not really area control because you can all go on every city. You just have to pay a little bit extra if somebody else is there.
Oh,
but
I see.
You don't block anybody out. It's such a good game. So simple. I always feel like this would be the next step game from Catan for people.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay, yeah, perfect.
Yeah. This is
if it had a square box, I would have purchased this a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a very awkward shape, but no, I think definitely Lee. I would try it. It's a great 2-player game.
Oh, but okay, perfect. We'll have to give that a try.
Maybe your boys wouldn't love it, but
yeah.
But this isn't one you'd have to wait for certain people. Like you could. What if you learn the rules, you'll be like, oh, really? That's it? That's all there is to it? Because the card play is so cool. You just play a card, you do that action, you build up your deck by buying more cards, and then if you want to reset, you just tribute and you bring them all back to your hand and you can do it all again. And there's just so many different ways to score points that you can go different routes. So it's awesome. I love this game. Good choice.
Nice. Yes, I'm excited to try this one for sure.
Yep. So that was your number 7. My number 6 is Valparaiso. Now, this is made in 2018 by Stefan Mals and Louis Mals? Mals? It's M-A-L-Z, so I'm not sure how they say it. But I believe they're a father-son. And they are the duo that also made Rococo, which I love. I have a copy of that, and it's one of my top games as well. It's such a cool mechanic game. So when I had pre-ordered that. That was back when Eagle Griffin did a big pre-order for their deluxe Rococo version. I had looked into the Duo and was like, what else do they make? Well, and then they kickstarted this game called Tungaroo. And so I was telling Cherry about it, so she backed it right away, and it's a cool game. And then I found this other game, this older game, this Valparaiso, and I kind of had looked into it, and I'm like, oh, maybe if I come across it kind of thing. And then here at KefCon, it was on the auction, and this was one when I was telling you guys that I hadn't seen on the auction. It was in shrink, and as soon as it came up, I'm looking at my friends, because I'm auctioneering these games off. I'm like, bid on this for me, and they're looking at me like, what sign are you giving us? Like, do you want us to bid? I'm like holding my thumb up, like,
that's funny,
as I'm auctioning off this game. So it was funny, but so nobody auctioned against them, and I got it for like $10, I think. It was nuts. So it's still in shrink, and I really don't know a whole lot about this game. It looks like an older Euro kind of feel, but still looks like it has a neat mechanic to it. But yeah, that's my number 6, Valparaiso.
Nice. My number 6 is It's a Wonderful World. It was published in 2019. It's created by Frédéric Guérard, and it's published by Lucky Duck Game. And it's just one that looks so cool. You have like the board in the middle. You have all of these different colored cubes. I think it plays possibly like an engine building while you're trying to kind of have it so that builder. You know, you collect this much and you can switch into these things and that sort of stuff. It looks really cool. I have watched Before You Play kind of do a quick thing on it. It doesn't look like it's an overly complicated game to play. It's just one that I haven't got played yet, but definitely want to. This is another one that I've purchased this summer. I've purchased a lot of games this summer. So it's one that's kind of was just recently purchased, and then I'm looking forward to playing it. It looks great. So that's my number 6. It's a Wonderful World.
Awesome. I've played this game once on the cruise, and I did terrible at this game. But it is definitely an engine builder game, and I think it's one that the first time you play, I don't know if you'll get your engine going properly.
Kind of fully grasp it, yeah.
You need to play it once, and then you kind of, I mean, I'm using that as an excuse, but I so many people love this game. I did terrible at it, but I would like to try it again. Yeah. Awesome. All right. My number 5, we are on 5 already, is Sierra West, made in 2019 by Johnny Pack. Now, this one I had on my wanted list for quite a while, and again, I was kind of looking for it used. I don't believe you can find it new very often anywhere. I don't think it's out of print, but I don't think they are widely distributing these anymore. But this is like an Old West game. But what intrigued me is the mechanics of this game. It's got that cascading effect, kind of like in Hall of the Mountain King, where I don't know if it's the same type of cascading, but I believe you like activate all your tiles below it, kind of like in a pyramid thing. And it has kind of a campaign type part that you can also play, so you can go through all different scenarios, I believe. But it isn't talked about a lot, but the people who do talk about it, they love it. And they say it's awesome and kind of like one of those hidden gems. Johnny Pack was also involved in Endless Winter and Unconscious Mind, which is a new one coming out, which I played Endless Winter and I actually absolutely love it. Unconscious Mind looks really appealing to me. So this is one of his older ones that I bought at KefCon again in the auction, and I got it, I think, super cheap. I think it was $10 to $20. So I'm looking forward to getting this one to the table, and that's my number 5, Sierra West.
Nice. My number 5 is one of the newer games on my list. It's called Destinies. It was published in 2021. It's created by Mishat Gotebioski and Philip Mitensky. And it's published by Lucky Duck Games. And I love Chronicles of Crimes. I love the whole mechanism behind it. This is one of the games that I would play at 2 players probably at most, because with the cooperative nature of it, I find it so easy to kind of have where one person is kind of doing the reading, one person's flipping the card, the other person's just kind of like an extra wheel, or can get that way quite easily. Destinies uses the same system. So you'll have cards and you can scan the QR code that's going to reveal more and so on. But it's competitive. It's not cooperative. So you're doing your own turn, your own character. It's kind of very, app-based, story-driven, adventure game, because you will be starting on one tile, and as you go to other tiles, you flip it over, see what's happening there. So the whole story kind of aspect of it looks amazing. This game, too, like, the whole thing is so beautifully produced. You have a lot of different little miniatures and stuff that'll come along, so you kind of visually see what's happening on your map as you build it. And as the characters come out. So it's like the story aspect of it, I can tell, is going to be amazing. But the box is created so beautifully. It's one of those boxes that has like a tray for everything and then has a lid so that when you put your game vertically on your shelf, things don't just fall all over the place. I love that. So the way that it all comes together is amazing. And then from what I understand, like, you'll be kind of coming across different challenges. It's called Destinies because you are given a destiny card and there's like 2 destinies you're trying to complete and kind of find out about, and then your main objective one that you're trying to kind of complete. And I think is the first one to do so wins the game or whatever. And then you'll come across cards, and depending on which destinies you want to be kind of concentrating on, which side of the card you'll be scanning the QR code and so on. It looks super interesting. And you'll have your own player board that will kind of have these little tokens on it. And then I think they start spread out, but you're trying to make them tighter, because when you have like a challenge that you'll be kind of facing, you'll roll, I think it's dice, that you roll the dice. And whatever the number that you roll is, then it's however many tokens you have on that number and lower is what you're contributing into this thing. And then you can have encounters, you can have battles, and then if you're going to be bringing a weapon in your battle, you scan the weapons. Okay, well, I'm using my dagger in this. Like, it looks very fantasy themed, story driven game, which I used when I was in high school. I've read so many fantasy novels, so it's just something that I like, and I cannot wait to play this one. And it's one of those that I've kind of okay, I'm waiting for the perfect people to play this with, so it's just sitting there waiting for the first opportunity to play it. And because it's app driven, you don't really have to worry so much about learning the game, because app driven games kind of teaches as you go. But yeah, I'm super excited for that. So that's my number 5, Destinies.
Awesome. Yeah, I could see you liking this game. I've looked into it as well, and I think the first thing I thought is, I'm like, oh, Mel would love this, I think.
Yeah,
I would love to try that game too. That looks awesome. Cool. My number 4 is Santa Maria, made in 2017 by Elif Svensson and Kristen Amundsen Ottsen. There, I said it. And this is an older Euro again that gets talked about, I won't say frequently, but a fair amount. And people seem to love this game when they don't love the theme, because there's the whole colonizing, and it's not that pretty looking. It's not terrible, but they said the mechanics are just so cool. It's just like a dice placement, but you're kind of placing in your own grid. And as you place the dice, you get to activate different things on your grid, whether you're gathering resources or moving up tracks or different things like that. But I did get this as well at KevCon in the auction. No, I didn't get this in the auction. I had bought it before KevCon, and he held it for me, and I picked it up there. That's what it was. But I did get it with the expansion, which is hard to find typically. And I'm looking forward to playing this one. This one, what also drew me to this game is the designers. They have made some games that I really like. One is it's called The Magnificent. Now that's a dice placement game as well, which I really like. They've made even roll and writes like Trails of Tucana. One of them, I believe, is involved in that one. And so I really like the mechanics that they typically design in games. And so I'm looking forward to this one. And that's my number 4, Santa Maria.
My number 4 is Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. It was published in 2018. It's created by Scott Alms, and it's published by Gamelin Games. Now, Gamelin Games, I got into them, and they're really well known for their tiny epic games. They're so well known for making those really neat, big presents game that comes in a tiny, tiny box. And I think somebody said to them, is like, yeah, you don't know how to make a big game. So then Gamelin Games said, hold my beer. And then they made Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, because this one is huge. It is such a big box, and it has like everything in it. You have miniatures. You have like these 3D components. Like, it's a massive, massive game. I bought this one at the Gobfest auction, and I got a steal of a deal with it. Like, I bought this one for $25, and then for how much game it comes with. And another thing that I really like about it, and then Gamelin Games do this with almost all of their game, but the tutorial of it is on Dized. So, which is like that tutorial app that will teach most Tiny Epic games on there. Well, this one's on there too, because you look at it, it looks intimidating. It's like, oh, okay, this is going to be one of those like, oh, let's play this. Like, nope, I am not ready. But now that it's on the Dized app, it's a non-issue, because you'll go on the Dized app and then you kind of like, it teaches as you play through, and you kind of go on there, says, okay, so how many players? Okay, well, we're 2 players. Okay, great. And then who's like, and then you kind of keep track of what you're doing. It tells you how to play the game as you play the game. Love that app. So I'm super excited that this one is on there, because it's going to make learning and playing this game a breeze. But you have so many components. As I mentioned, there's little miniatures. There is these 3D built tower things that you'll be building as you play. I've no idea really how the game plays. But it looks amazing, and I can't wait to give it a try. So that's my number 4, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea.
Nice. And you bought that at this last Gobfest?
Yeah, well, that's the only Gobfest I've ever been to, yeah.
Oh, right. Wait, I don't remember you getting that. I thought it was a while ago when you got that one. But
well, it was in the spring, right?
I guess that was a while ago.
Which, by the way, Gobfest is just opening for this coming year. Like, you can register to that now.
Yeah, it's earlier this year, I think. Isn't it March?
It's in March, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually April, but... All right. My number 3 is Weather Machine. This is made in 2022 by Vital Lacerda. Now, this one I had just received my Kickstarter a couple weeks ago. At that time, I had a bunch of other smaller Kickstarters, so those kind of got bumped ahead because the learn is a lot easier. So I haven't learned this one yet. I've been watching lots of reviews and some playthroughs and some teaches on YouTube, but they just aren't sinking in yet. So I need to really focus and learn this game. The only thing stopping me is up until this last review I've watched that people just rave about it, that it's just great, probably one of his best. And now I just watched a terrible review. They absolutely hated the game, and I'm like, no. Because this is an expensive Kickstarter, but I mean, worst case scenario, if it's not great, I can just sell it. But I am looking forward to it. The theme is so neat and it's unique. It's about the weather is like, they're trying to change the weather and they build these weather machines and you are trying to fix this weather machine, I believe. But this little, Professor Lative, I believe, which is Vital spelt backwards, is the guy going around supposedly trying to help you, but he actually hinders you because he messes things up. So you're just trying to fix this machine, I think, in the long run. And by doing that, you like build points and things. I don't even though I've watched things, I still don't really grasp the whole concept yet. But I think I've just kind of got it on in the background and I'm not focusing on it. but the theme looks so cool and the mechanics look cool as well. And his games usually always flow so well that the theme comes through in the mechanics. So those are games typically that once I play them, it's, if I play them a year later, I don't have to completely relearn the game because you just kind of have to go back a little bit, but everything kind of flows so much that it's, he puts his theme and mechanics together very well. So yeah, I am looking forward to it, even though there is some haters out there, but to Weather Machine, that's my number 3.
Nice. My number 3 is Too Many Bones. It's published in 2017. It's created by Josh J. Carlson and Adam Carlson, and it's published by Lucky Duck Games. I've got a lot of Lucky Duck games here on this list. This is one that was at Melcon. My friend was selling it there as copy secondhand, and I looked at it, and it is beautiful. It has all these custom dice. And then the way that the box packs everything is just amazing. And then you have all these different player mats that are actually neoprene mats, and they have cutout for where all the dice would need to be fitting in. It has like bunch of poker chips that you have that are pieces that you would play this. The production of this game is just amazing. And I didn't buy it there. I was like, cause it's a pricey game. And I was like, I don't know. And then I was moving. So I'm buying a game I can't even play. Then Falcon came along and I know he was going to be there. And I was like, so did you sell it yet? And he's like, no, do you want it? And I was like, oh yeah, I want it.
Damn, yeah, I better have it now.
So I ended up buying it, and I still haven't gotten it to the table. But it's one that a few of my friends are like, okay, when you're ready to play this, like, give me a call. I'd love to play this. And this is an RPG game. Like, you have your characters. Everybody has a different characters. You kind of have different abilities, and you develop your character kind of as you play, and it just looks so good. And it's one that I've heard such great things about. And then just the whole, as I said, the whole production of this game just looks so amazing. And then when people come over, like, I haven't played it yet, but it's one that I've shown off a few times, right? It's like, oh, look at this game. And then we open and pull the pieces out, and it's like, it's so good looking. I'm really looking forward to trying to get this one played. It's just getting the right crowd, getting the right, and I'm not sure how long it plays, but I think this is one that would be kind of a little bit more involved as well, to kind of play through the different, and I don't know if it's scenarios, but as you evolve and stuff. So it looks amazing though. So that's my number 3, Too Many Bones.
Yeah, if you ever watch Board Game Barbecue,
yeah,
a couple of the guys there just love this game. They talk about it a lot.
Nice.
Can't remember which two they are. Two of the guys with the deep
just
voices.
Looks so amazing.
Yeah,
it really does.
Awesome. And the dice, you can't get enough of all those dice. Hey. All right, my number 2 is called The Game of Wolf, made in 2019 by Joe Barron. Now this is a party game, and the reason it's so high up on my list is I'm so excited to play this at Christmas with my family. This is kind of a trivia game, but it's such a wide range of like facts and things that I think it should be interesting for everyone. So what you do on your turn, and you can play, like, I think you can play with up to like 12 people because you can play in teams as well. But typically, if it's just a normal numbered game, like say maybe 6-8 players, you will grab a card and you're the reader, and you will look at the question. You won't be able to look at the answers, and you will decide from the question if you want to go as a lone wolf to answer these questions, or if you want to pick some pack mates. Now, depending on the player count, you either pick one, or if there's like quite a large group, then you can pick, I think, 2 or 3 people to go with you on your wolf pack. And then I think you have, I don't know if you write your answers down or if there's a timer. That I haven't looked into, but I believe you write them down, and you will, so the 2 groups will see all the question and will write all their answers down, because they are typically questions that you need, like, there's 5 different answers, and you want to get as the most possible between the two teams. So like say it was a sports question and I drew the card. Well, I would look over at my brother and go, I want you on my pack because you probably know all the answers to these questions. Or if it's like I saw there was one like you had to match all the birthstones to the actual month, then I would probably pick my sister-in-law who knows all that stuff. So it's kind of neat because they're all different questions, but you can. And if you're the one who grabs the card and it's like something you are like, you specialize in, you're like, yeah, I'm going lone wolf here. So you will answer your questions yourself and everybody else will answer them. And you are trying to beat them. And I believe if you win as a lone wolf, you get extra points.
Nice.
Whereas if you're with a team, you probably will get, you still get points, but not as many as if you were the lone wolf. But it looks really interesting. I have bought this one at Chapters. It was on sale and I thought, I'm going to give this a try and see because we typically we played the game of Wolf when we're golfing and it's the same kind of thing. We all do our first drive off the tee and then the person who's gets to choose that hole, they get to pick who they want on their team. Or if everybody had a bad shot but them, they can be like, no, I'm just going to go against all of you. And then whoever has the lowest score in the hole, it gets a bunch of points. So it's nice. It's kind of neat. When I was describing it to my brother, he's like, oh, you mean like what we play in golf? I'm like, yeah, except it's just like questions. So it seems like it'll be fun. And that's my number. Yeah, that's my number 2, the game of Wolf.
Wonderful. My number 2 is fairly recently, actually very, very recently added to my shelf of shame. So I don't think it's one that's going to actually take me long to get played either. And that's Terraforming Mars Era's Expedition. It's published in 2021, created by Sydney Engelstein and Jacob Frixelius and Nick Little. I'm having a hard time reading my own handwriting here. Published by Stronghold Games. And this is another one, too, that is on the Dized app. So
awesome.
Don't have to kind of worry about learning it. Could just set the app and then go and play. I enjoy Terraforming Mars. I've played Terraforming Mars and then the engine building aspect of it. And then I've played that one with Nick and with Lee, and then they both enjoyed it as well. I think this is just one, and from what I understand, it's kind of more of a card version and probably easier to get to the table also.
Yeah.
So I think this will be like an easy one to get played. It looks amazing with all the components, the player boards and that sort of stuff. So I'm super excited to get this one played. And it's just been unplayed because I just got it last weekend. I bought it through an order that you put, Carla, and then it just got home last weekend. So I'm hoping maybe this weekend, actually, maybe not. Maybe over Christmas. There's just so much going on right now around the Christmas season because we're going on a sleigh ride in Banff tomorrow.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's going to be hard to, and then I'm working today. So yeah. So that's my number 2, Terraforming Mars Era's Expedition.
Yeah, I think you're going to really like this. It's plays quicker than Terraforming Mars. The art is better in this one. They've upgraded it, and it's just basically the card play, but it's so smooth and cool. And if you've played Terraforming Mars, this will be such an easy learn. And then if you have Dized, it's going to be awesome. And you got such a good deal on this game. You got the Kickstarter version, which I got, and I don't even know or want to say what I paid, but this was for $20. I mean, yeah, I did get some player mats, but still, you've got the dual layer board. So
yeah, they look amazing.
You got a great deal on this game. Yeah, no, it's totally worth $20. That's an awesome deal. Yeah, you will like it for sure. All right. My number 1 is called Emerald Flame, made in 2021 by Rita Orlov. Now, I had I have started getting into these puzzle games. I have purchased the Exit Advent calendar. And I typically have tried some exits before. I've tried them with a friend or kind of alone, and I wasn't really crazy about them. But I don't know what made me buy this. Maybe the fact that it was an advent calendar, but I have been loving these puzzles. I do require hints sometimes, but most times I'm getting them figured out. And I think the more of these you do, I think that your brain opens up more to be able to I don't know. It just seems that they get easier. Like, I don't think the puzzles are easier, but I think I'm starting to like open up my mind more to look through some things. Because at the first few, I'd be like, I have no idea. I gotta see a hint. Whereas now I'm like, oh, let me just look at this for a bit. Let me absorb some stuff. And it's really neat, and I'm really enjoying that. So I had kind of looked into some other ones, and I remember I had seen this on Kickstarter, and I had looked at it, and the art is just beautiful in this game. And this is just puzzles. Like, this is literally, it's a mystery, I believe, but it's all logic puzzles and different, like, you cipher things, and it's all kinds of things, but the art is just, you just have to go and look on the internet and check this game out just for the art alone. I bought this just to do solo, so I'm not going to do this with people. So far, anyway, that was my plan. But I can't wait to dig into this. I do have it wrapped, and it's going to be under my tree. It's probably going to be one of those gifts from my dog. But
Nice. That's a nice dog.
But yeah, he's gotten me lots of nice things this year. But I can't wait to play this one and just to like be able to see the objects and look through the art and figure stuff out. There is a hint system that is really cool, I believe, where it's not like a giveaway hint system. It like just is baby steps. So it'll just kind of like, okay, well, just kind of, maybe look at this, or just give you a tiny hint so it doesn't ruin anything or give you the whole complete answer. And you can just like take baby steps in the hints, which is neat, I think, because I don't want to, just look at the answer, but if you're totally off track and you're like, I have no idea what's going on, you could just get a little tiny clue. And, I'm looked into all these post-curious games now, and I want them all. There's this one that just uses tarot cards, and they are multi-use cards. It's called Light in the Mist, and there's all different puzzles or scenarios, and you use different cards for each scenario, so they can all be used in different ways, I believe. And then once you've used something on the card for one, I believe you don't use that for the next, so you can kind of deduct that way as well. And I can't wait for that. And then there's another one called Adrift, and I think this is the newest one. And I believe that might be the most streamlined or like the easiest version, which I should probably do first, but I really want to dig into this Emerald Flame. I can't wait to. It looks just gorgeous, and I'm so excited. And that's my number one.
Nice. Now for my number one, I'm putting a whole series in there. And that's the Key series. So far I've played Keyflower, which I just love. I don't like, it's just such a neat game. And I've played it where it's played way too long. And I've played it where there's way too much analysis paralysis. And I still love this game. It's just so cool. And you draw these meeples and you put them behind this little shield where you kind of keep everything, and then you have these different colored meeples, and you have these tiles that gets flipped over each round, and then you can bid on the tile to add them to your own village, and you'll put a meeple on the edge that's facing you to say, okay, well, I'm bidding on this one. Now, if you've used a red meeple, that means anybody who would like to outbid you has to do it in red meeples now, because you've assigned that color to this particular tile. Now, it could be that somebody's like, okay, well, while you two are fighting over who's going to do that tile, I'm just going to go ahead and put a red meeple on top of it and activate its ability, and then collect whatever resources it can do or whatever. The whole game works so well. I just love it. And we've played it at Malcon. It's one that I've played a few times. I've played it at Boardgame Bash of Blood, and it's just great. But there's a whole series of the key series, anyways. So, and then when we were at Gobfest, I got Keeper. And just based on the Keyflower game alone. Now, Keeper, and then I opened it, and it's super cool that there's this tile that kind of has all the actions that you can activate. And then each season, you kind of change this tile, and you kind of flip the sides over, and then it flips over onto itself, and it reveals new things. And then next season, you can flip it further, and it blows my mind, because you can forever flip this one, and it never catches. Like, it never reaches the end. It just flips onto itself infinitely. And then I was like, how does this not rip? Like, how is that possible that you can? It blows my mind. But it looks So neat. So I got Keeper. And then recently I got Key Harvest, Key Market, Key to the City, London. And I think the only one I still need now is Cathedral and Key Flow. And then I'd have the
dragon
whole
one too, or Key Dragon.
Oh, I don't know if there is, but I've never played. Yeah, I don't have it.
I see a dragon on the box, but maybe it's not called.
It's possible. I mean, I got this on here, but I
to
can't
add to your list,
right? But I'm so excited to kind of start playing it. And I had posted on the groups, kind of like, okay, I'm getting the Key series. Which do you recommend? And so many people said, oh, Cathedral is amazing. Oh, Key Market's so good. Key Flow's a win. It was like, it sounds like it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited to play this one. And I mean, and it's an older series. Some of them are published in 2009, 2007. Some are a little bit newer. Some have had like second editions reprint. But I know like how much I loved Keyflower. I'm just so excited to give these other one a try. So my number one is like the whole Key series.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, those. You said you have Key Flow?
No, Key Flow and Cathedral are the only two I don't have right now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's called Keedum's Dragons. Like, I don't know if you can see the picture.
Oh, geez,
there,
and then Keedum's Dragons then.
But I don't know if that's part of the series. Like,
who's
it just
the publisher?
Like,
or who's the designer?
R&D Games, and the designer's Richard Breeze.
Oh, man, it is part of the Key series. So I need one more.
Add it to your list.
But yeah, because Richard Breeze is the main designer of this series, and R&D Game is the main publisher that's done the whole. I cannot wait. Like this looks so great. But yeah, so many games to play. So many games to play.
Yeah.
And so this was our top 9. You know what? Like we were talking just before we got started, is like, because we are having a hard time staying under the 1 hour, and we're at 1 hour right now. Because we're talking about games we've never played. I guess it makes it faster.
Yeah, we don't know a whole lot about these games. Can't blabber on too much about them.
Exactly. Now, next week is going to be episode 49, and we're going to be talking about our top 9 New Year's resolution board game related. And then the week after that is our top 50 of all time. So we're going to be starting the top 50 series, which I have to get started. I haven't got my list together at all. I'm kind of counting on the holidays to be able to sit down and do those. Yeah. Because I do it using PubMeeple. It's going to be
That'll be a long one.
Of comparison.
That'll be a long, I know. I've got my I've started drafting my big list.
Yeah.
But, because I'm going to try and put 100 games on the list.
So probably just kind of go through. It's like, okay, this one's probably top. This one's, and then go from there. Yeah. But we're going to forget some that way, and they'll be like, I know. I didn't think of that. It'll be interesting to see if we have any crossovers as well. I suspect our list will be very different.
I think so. We might have a couple crossovers, but yeah, I think overall it'll be very different. We do like some of the same games, but I think our loves are like our favorites are quite different. I believe.
Kind of goes in different directions for sure. Yeah. Wonderful. So that's all coming up. That's exciting. Now we do have a Discord channel now, so be sure to join us on Discord. We'll add a link to the descriptions here so you can join the conversation. We've been having great conversation in there. Now, if anybody wants to find you, Carla, where can we find you?
I'm on Instagram at Boardgame Specialist, all one word, and Facebook, I have a page called Red Deer Board Game Fanatics. What about you?
So on Instagram, I'm Mel's_boardgame_room. My Facebook room my Facebook group is Mel's Board Game Room, and my YouTube channel is Mel's Board Game Room. So thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Be sure to come next week for our top 9 New Year's resolution.
Bye for now. Thanks for listening.